all you comic sapiens out there tonight. Tonight, we're going to break boundaries. We're going to touch one another with how incredibly meaningful and wonderful art and life is. We're going to experience joy. We're going to touch one another. That's what we're going to do. We're going to touch one another. It's Monday once again, and we're going to bring down the temperature on this bitch to about 72 degrees, and we're going to bring in our guest first. So because Will's chilling, we're bringing in Michael Odin.
Man, that might be the most zen opening that I've ever seen to a stream in my entire life.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to bring it down, man. You got to bring down the temperature in the room.
Of course, absolutely.
Gotta slip it in like when they're sleeping, and then fucking like
get everything just nice and calm. Get some ocean breeze going in. Do some yoga.
Exactly. Find our center. Yeah, touch ourselves.
Touch ourselves.
Yeah, take your shoes off. Like, put them in the grass, yo.
Of course, absolutely. Go barefoot. Why not?
That's what it's about. So, tonight, Mike Odin, our guest, is going to be talking about his new book, The Embrace 2, the second issue. I really dig the character. Like, I think the whole ghost hand thing is fucking awesome.
I appreciate it. I know, if Dean's watching out there, he would appreciate it too. He did a fantastic job with that design.
I really dig it.
Like, it was so integral to the creative process. Before we had the design, I couldn't like see how the character worked. So like, once I did, it was like first draft of the first script for the first book was done in like a week.
Nice. That sounds actually really great. We're gonna talk more about that in a moment, Mike.
Yeah, of course.
But I actually want to introduce my co-host who's been here for 25 whole episodes. He's an integral part of what I do here, and he's really amazing. It looks like tonight he's been a little busy and stuff, so let's, when y'all come in, give him a big old hail and give him some love. I want to see some fucking love for my co-host, Will, the man, Perdomo.
Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Doing well, Good. Will. How are you?
I'm okay. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? Minus any technical problems.
Yeah, you're a glitching technical problem currently, but maybe you'll have to unplug and replug in. Maybe it is that microphone.
That simple.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, it fixed it before. So, once you...
So I do think that Will has a microphone built into that headset, and so it might be capturing double takes.
Oh.
Because I can see there's like that little notch thing that's on the headset on the cord. That is a microphone that's there. So if it's awesome. It is? Okay, then I got nothing.
Everything's going this.
Yeah, nice ferret face you made right there. That was a good one.
Me?
Do it again. Yeah. A little ferret face. Yeah. Uh-huh. You did it. I know you did it. So, Will, why don't you take over and tell us who's here tonight?
All right. Well, I see a big boss man first, and that's Seth. Welcome, sir. Says, hail the room, chat panel. Keep your eyes open. The member edge punk comedian make themselves known against the corporos media in the future. And then fellow meatbag Marco Gully says, greeting. Will, Mike, and from its sake,
greetings.
And then, of course, I think everybody's coming in a little late. They usually do.
Yeah, you're roboting so bad. I don't know what's going on with that. Could somebody tell me?
It could
And
be my
they,
internet too.
I don't think that it's an internet thing because it's not like you're coming in choppy. It's like it's repeating like all of what you're saying.
Yeah, it repeats your
It's
sexy
something with your
voice.
mic.
Yeah.
Like it might just I don't know. This is where getting in all the professional mics and everything. I just have my laptop has a built-in mic and it seems
How about
to
now?
100% of the time.
I don't know.
Say
Now-
say a full sentence.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what's up, GJ?
That's
How you doing?
perfect.
Dude,
That's
you're
good.
fucking perfect.
Hello, GJ. Welcome.
I finally am gonna get rid of this spit shield. I'm just gonna dick. Why don't we do
Yeah.
that?
Take it.
I'll just talk directly into this. Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah, tonight I figured we would talk about. Yeah, I possibly don't need to get that close. We're going to be looking at some art. I've been trying to convince Will that I want to paint like I want to paint the book we're doing together, Meathead, like Electra Assassin, and make it like an event. Like not go all cartoony, but I can do a close enough Bill Sankovich impression that it would probably work out. And you know we're interested in the larger, like we're looking at the bigger picture here. Like we want to sell this thing to like a massive comic book company and get the thing out there in the real world, and then on top of that, you know, have something to show that's just so amazing that they have to make a fucking movie out of it. And that's my thinking, like along those lines. And I think Will can still get what he wants, and I can still get what I want, and it can be beautiful. It can be beautiful, like beautiful, like type of stuff. And we're talking about it, so I still have to convince him.
No, you don't. I mean, I think we had a long conversation about it, and we spoke along cinematic lines. We were talking about Vittorio Storaro. We were talking about Apocalypse Now. We were talking about tobacco and orange, and how you can't really get that kind of smoke unless you paint it.
Yeah, that's true, man. Like all I think in my mind is like Apocalypse Now. If Bill Sankovich had like painted Apocalypse Now, how beautiful that would have been.
Bob Peak painted it.
Right there once again. Yeah, I fucking love it. I love it, and I want it to be big. I want it to be bigger scale, and I'm sick of wading in these waters on Twitter, man. I want to distinguish myself and my colleague Will above the rest. I want to like really put our fucking mark on it, like and hump it into submission. You know.
I completely understand that.
So,
I mean,
but what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, you gonna show us something?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to really convince me that stuff like that is pretty beautiful.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
so good. It's so good.
For wondering, Bill Sankovich's magnum opus.
Yeah, I have it too.
You have this one?
No, I have this one with the awesome cover.
Well, this one has that. Well, mine's a more spiffy like one.
Mine has the painting that he did that was only like this huge poster was made out of it, and that was it. They finally made it a cover.
That's awesome.
And it's soft bound, so I can like.
Mine is more patrician.
That is. But here's what I have that kind of like goes with Electra Assassin, but the only reason why is this is the Wolverine stuff, the Buscema stuff, like back in the day, the Claremont Buscema Cohen stuff. And all this Cohen stuff was inked by Bill Sankovich. Let me show you. Like, there's all this really cool stuff in here, and it really is like what is so awesome about like Bill Sankovich. I think he inked this. It looks like he inked it. What happened to you guys? Where did
Well, we
you
had
go?
wanted to see this J.Crager you wanted to show.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, it's the inking, man. And then I totally see how he like paints now. I recently did a couple Bill Sankovich paintings, like to try to study his stuff, and I really kind of get why he does what he does, and I really kind of want to lean that direction. Anyways, those two books together are just amazing. And of course, I own like a bunch of other Bill Sankovich stuff.
And you've been talking about him since we started this thing. So
Yeah, I think it's been like my quest. I think this is my Electra assassin, and I need to just suck it up, Buttercup, and do it.
yes,
So I need to shut everybody up afterwards and just be like, "Fuck off, man!" Like, none of you. Yeah, it's
I'll wait-
basically what it comes down to.
I'll wait
I
till
mean, hey, you gotta do
later
what you gotta
on
do, man.
in this thing.
If
there's
that's
more
what the
people in
creative
the room.
vision is, that's what you need to go for.
What do you think, Will? What'd you say?
No, I say I'll wait till later. If there's a couple other people come in, I'll show them the colored Rob Willis piece.
That Rob Willis piece is beautiful. How am I ever supposed to upstage that unless I paint it like Electra Assassin?
Well, that's why I
Like,
did it, just to make you feel bad.
Fuck you, Will. Fuck you. And fuck you, Rob, for drawing it well. So
And
God,
it's mine.
God,
It's all mine. It's going to be on the wall
Yeah.
right next to your stuff.
yeah. It sucks, man. It really sucks. Anyways, this show isn't about me and my.
Even though
My-
we're, self-centered whores, it isn't
We
about
are.
us.
It isn't. It isn't. But it is about Michael Odin and the Embrace. So
Thank you.
what don't we? Is your campaign still going on? Correct.
Yeah, it's in demand currently.
Cool.
So it'll be in demand probably through the end of the month. I am looking to launch. Like, I will close it out towards the end of the month, and then we'll be launching the Fund My Comic. I think I'm gonna probably do that on October 1st. So that way we do 30 days on there, and then close that out on Halloween. I think it'd be like a fun thing to do with the character. Kind of see if we can't get some people on and do like a Halloween draw stream close out for the Embrace too, and have people just coming on and drawing the character. I think it'd be a fun time.
That would be. That sounds like fun. That's actually
I'd
pretty
like to
cool.
see Jason Crager do that.
I mean, I certainly would be down to have Crager come on. I was just talking to him before the show. I saw his Horseman piece that he did, and I'm not a huge fan of the Rippaverse, but like that piece was clutch. If that was a cover, I'd go buy it.
It's as I said, I just swiped one of the first images they created, and all I did was paint it. Like, it didn't really change. I put, instead of a red highlight, I put a white highlight, and then I put fire behind it and built up the fire to like have, like, I built up the gesso in layers so it actually has texture on it, which I hate fucking doing, but it just happens to work for this. And I did it kind of to see if it would work. And then, of course, because it's not all flat now and awesome, it has this texture where the fire is, and it kind of makes me all like, But when you take a picture of it, or if you scan it, it's not going to be a problem. Oh, the baby's up. I can hear her.
Oh, you can hear her?
I can. It's okay. It's okay. So,
how old is she at this point? Well, it's been a minute.
Two. She's 2. She's adorable. She's adorable. You should get her, Will. You should show her.
Well, she's on a slide. She'll come over here eventually.
I'm sure she will. She'll get sick of it.
She's watching the Lorax.
It's okay, man. It's okay. She's allowed to be up and be part of the stream. It's good. How are we supposed to teach her about comic books if she can't stay up and be part of it?
Uh-oh. I see that look on her face. She's
Yeah.
taking a dump.
Oh, maybe she had to go potty. So
Yeah, because she's making that face where
she gotta go. Oh yeah. One of my
Yeah, she's taking
favorite
a dump.
Time for a diaper change.
one of my favorite things that happened, I had taken my so she's 18 now, but Cassidy, we had taken her to, I think she was 2. Took her to go see Santa Claus, right? And she has a little red dress on that her mom made for her special, so she looked all Santa-y. And it was just like a tradition that she get a picture with Santa Claus. She had done it at 1 year old, and there wasn't really an issue because the 1-year-old didn't care about Santa Claus and was sleeping. So it was like, here, Santa, take a picture. Okay. So the second time around, as we're waiting in line, she's all dressed up. She's perfect. She still has a diaper. Maybe she was 1. Maybe this was the first time, and she was walking around. And she walks over in the corner in the mall. Like she walks away from us like 15 feet and goes, and there's like this little corner and it's dark, and we just see her squat down and get ready to go. And literally she unleashes in her diaper right before she's supposed to go sit on Santa's lap. All
Jesus.
dressed up to the nines.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
man, it was fucking funny. It was hilarious, man. Of course that shit happens. You cannot predict a child like in what they're gonna do and what's gonna happen.
They are pure chaos, especially at that age.
Yeah, they're like, I always tell Will, they're drunk little old men that are trying to kill themselves. Are you kidding me? That's
pretty accurate.
yeah. It's like, are you fucking high? Don't put the fork in the fucking wall. Yeah, man. They're psychotic. They're psychotic.
It's not
So
the fork, it's their tongues that they put in the wall.
they do. Children do the weirdest shit ever.
Do everything.
They do.
What up, Matt? LaRock?
Shove things in mouth, try and almost choke on them, like all sorts of crap.
All types of stuff. All types of stuff. All types of stupid shit. So you have to watch those kids, man. So taking a dump is just par for the course. That's all that is.
And plus, I feed her that green smoothie, so it's like, you know.
She green smoothies in her fucking diaper. Great. Thanks.
Exactly.
That's
so she didn't have to struggle. It just comes right out.
There's no struggle. No struggle at all. Nice. So can anybody in the chat who has a wrench make sure to post up the link for the embrace, so if somebody happens to come in who hasn't picked it up can go pick it up.
Yes, please.
And back it.
We appreciate it.
Typically Pokemon does that.
Let's see. Let's see if I have something that we can show.
Weren't you gonna show a page
for Meathead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's still just in pencil form. It's the same page I was working on last time. I mean, I'm not going to show off really anything they haven't seen before, dude. So I could. I
like looking at it.
We have,
it makes,
well, we have plenty of time. We'll get there.
Let me nurse them.
I know. We'll get you there, buddy. We'll get you off tonight. You'll be okay.
Thank you. It's been a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It'll be a while. You'll get your handy. Relax. I'm sorry, Mike. You've never had to deal with me before.
Thank you, Marco. Appreciate that.
I don't mind at all. We're just hanging out. We're having a good time.
Yeah.
See, even Matt LaRock said it. He's like, I didn't offer up a sketch suggestion because I thought J.Crager was drawing Meathead. Maybe that should be your tonight's sketch, and give it to Matt LaRock.
Well, we might get there at some point here.
He's already got like 19 sketches.
How about all those? Well, I also did a bunch of those, like, what were they? The Sin City sketches.
Oh.
Like, remember the Sin City sketches that I happened to do,
Yes, you were posting on Twitter.
that I was posting on Twitter. So let's see if we can get these a little more.
Oh, it's coming, Matt. You're gonna get your 40K sketch. He's still sending them out by piecemeal.
I'm a bastard. It's really slow right now. I have so much stuff happening, and it's just I haven't sent out anything except a bundle to Gordon Goodbrother. And
He's the one that got the Matt Weldon stuff too, right?
These are great.
Thanks, man. Here
There's magic. Always great.
is the magic piece that I did that I want to fucking.
That's kind of Stankovic-y.
It's very Sankovic-y. It's about as Sankovic-y as it gets.
It's Stankovic-y like France.
Sankovic. Biatch.
Okay.
Hold on.
Good lord. Excuse me.
So much crap.
Typically, we're more organized in this, Michael.
Yeah, we're not.
Hey, man. We're just having a good time. That's all I care about. We're hanging out, chatting.
Yeah, sexy talk.
I don't know if you talked about this with Crager back there, but there seems to be a kind of a pastiche element to the Embrace. What were you referencing when you put that together?
What was that again? Sorry, the audio was coming through quiet on my computer there for a second.
There seems to be kind of a pastiche to that character. Like I see a little bit of Haunt, a little bit of Spider-Man, a little bit of the Crow.
Yeah. So definitely when it comes down to the creative influences from like a writing standpoint, for me, I was definitely drawing from stuff like James O'Barr's The Crow, Todd McFarlane, Robert Kirkman's Haunt, definitely a little bit of Spider-Man. When we were designing him, Spider-Man definitely played like a heavy influence, especially like the symbiote era, and like a little bit of actually Sylvester's The Darkness in there as well. Like there was a whole bunch of different characters that we kind of tried to pull from, but also make sure that he had his own identity and everything like that.
Sorry, I was distracted by him throwing that page down.
That's pretty awesome.
And let's see if we can get it to focus close up on it. Yeah.
He's doing his tight pencils right now.
Yeah. I'm trying to I was trying to kind of do the Spinozian-y thing, but I just think over rendering it and doing shit like that will take away from all this cool atmosphere we can do.
You better make that an AK that he's got.
This down here.
Yeah.
AK-47. I forget. It's not an AK-47. It's one of the Viet Cong era weapons.
Is that the grease gun?
I don't remember what it was called. So I have a picture of it. When I looked up a bunch of stuff, I categorized a bunch of things. Looking up Vietnam era weapons. I forgot what the name of this one was. Hold on. I'm trying to fucking find it. Why you guys get fixated on that shit?
I do. I mean, I told you the only thing I get fixated on is details like that.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, it's fucking accurate to the fucking time period.
It looks like the M3 SMG. It was a submachine gun. It was also like its colloquial name was the grease gun.
It's possible that's it.
It was used through like late World War II all the way through like Vietnam. The Viet Cong definitely used a lot of them.
There you go.
I love him in that attire. And he hasn't seen him much in that attire because everybody keeps drawing him without his helmet.
Yeah, I finally just kind of worked him out, you know, in his helmet, doing that stuff. So yeah. And then I have this, which is for
Your vampire book.
a vampire book I'm doing.
Lots
Also.
of infant eating in that one.
No, clones. They're clones.
Excuse me. Small little people eating.
Little deformed clones. That's all they are.
That's exciting.
Yeah, they're little deformed clones, man. Why do you gotta just say baby eating, man? Like, you can talk about AIDS babies, but you can't talk about eating babies. See, Mike's fucked up like we are. That's good. I like that, Mike. So,
like something like that, right?
what
Oh,
are we
hi.
doing? Let's see.
Something like this.
No, I can't. Hi, baby. I'm not your
Hi.
daddy. Hi. Hi. Hi.
Hello.
This is a
How
one
are
wacky
you?
show.
I mean,
It is
hey,
one watch show.
there are worse things to be than wacky. Oh, you found me? I found
Hi,
you.
Hi, Stella.
There you go.
Hi, Stella.
He's like,
I'm
I have no
Jason.
idea what I'm looking at.
No, I'm Jason. That's
She's about to
Mike.
pound away at the keyboard. Is what she wants.
That's Mike. I'm Jason. You can call us Uncle Mike and Jason.
Has your dad started reading you Seneca?
No, she's just getting other things that.
Nah. He's too busy feeding her Stalinistic memorabilia.
Yeah, I have that picture of her reading that. It's pretty funny.
She's reading like a biography on Stalin.
It would have been funnier if it was the
Right.
other one that we don't mention. I think.
Oh, well, it would have been funny for a second.
The mean Mr. Mustache Man.
Yeah. There's a reason he's called that.
That just would have been really funny, like or like a I don't know, like a serial killer book or something.
Yeah, man. Like if she was reading Helter Skelter or something like that.
That was in that same shelf where she got the Stalin book.
That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. She's a little young for that, but you know,
she's a little young for Stalin too, but it's Will.
Terrorist. So. She was trying to look into the ISIS section, but it was too dry for her.
He has an ISIS section.
I have a Middle East section in my bookshelf. I have quite a few Middle East books. Those are expensive, man. They're hard to find.
This is the ISIS section.
It's because they all have trade embargoes with us, and we don't get stuff printed from them anymore. Find an authentic copy of Ferdowsi's Shahnameh is a pain in the ass.
Is it all just photocopies now? Photocopies of photocopies?
They're just expensive. Like my Assad book, the only book I have of his dad is like $40.
$40. $40.
So eBay is your friend.
It's pretty expensive. So I don't know, man. I don't feel like drawing anything tonight. I don't feel like doing anything. Like at all, which is stupid, right? So, but I do have, hold on, let me go. Yeah, listen to her go, man. She's awesome. Let's go to my library. Let's see what's in my library besides porn.
I mean, fair.
Being fair. So in my library, let's see if you guys can see this. It has me painting and recording me painting. Let me go back.
So this is gonna be your hack. It's going to be you're gonna put a video of you drawing, so that way you can be like, yes, it's a live draw stream.
Yeah, I mean it literally is, right? It literally is if I do this.
I was like, nobody's seen this before. It's okay.
Yeah, nobody's seen this before, and I literally don't like say anything during it. Let's see if I can speed it up though. I wonder if there's a let's see more options.
There should be a playback option.
Let's see more options.
Speed. There you go.
Speed.
Not the good kind.
No. Well, there is no good kind, Will, of speed, by the way. So that it pretty much fucks everybody who takes it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not one of those things.
But for a brief moment, they could fly.
Yeah, like nobody when you take meth, like usually nobody gets out alive. Like you lose all your teeth, you fucking sell your children. You
Yep.
yeah, dude, you're sucking dick under a bridge to wear a tutu so that you can just, find your chiclets. Whatever, dude. Like no, nobody I don't know what I'm doing. I'm obviously not painting. Here we go.
There you go. Now you're painting.
Now
So
I'm
tell
painting.
me, when you were back there, you had some design commentary on the Embraced, Crager.
Oh, I already talked to Mike about it off screen, where we had, I'd talked about how dark that first issue was, and it was a shame that it really was so dark that it kind of covered up what the artist was doing, because the preview in the back of the Embrace, it was night and day. And now I'm not telling you shouldn't go buy the Embrace. You should still go buy that thing for, just the story alone. And the art. But we had chatted briefly, and I guess he had said something along the lines of, it printed a bit darker than he thought it would, and it was a different colorist at the time. And I mean, I think it's a great character. I think the design is great. I see where the actual influences come from. Yeah. And if anybody's wondering what I'm painting, I think her name's Sherry Manson, and she's American Mary. It's the girl from American Mary, which is the Soska sisters.
That's very pretty.
No, we're getting let's get past the hair. This is the boring.
It's Catherine Isabel, if you don't know the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
We can Canadian actress who's basically in everything in Canada.
Yeah.
So
or her
just
her counterpart who's in the first It. The Tim Curry one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'm just laying foundational blacks and stuff, just trying to get, this is like painting 101. Your underpainting will dictate how good your real painting is. I'm just using black ink and washes, which are watered down black ink. Really simple. You can do stuff light, real light, and just kind of build up.
And yeah, this is turning out really well, man. I mean, I know
Thanks.
that it's already been done, but this is looking really good.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, one of the things I actually kind of excel at is doing portraits. So it's always been one of those things I do pretty well.
Man, how nerve-wracking is it to do the eyelashes with the ink at that point?
Oh, it's not as bad. It's really not as bad as you think. Like, I think if you just have a good brush, and once you've kind of like chilled out and done all the hair and stuff like that, you're pretty like confident at that point to just kind of eyelash that thing in.
That's fair.
At that point, anyways, it doesn't matter since it's going to be a painting. Like, you're going to put paint everywhere anyways.
That's
So
fair.
you can end up, cleaning that stuff up later if you have to. And it's not such a big deal. I ended up doing that with her mouth, like after the fact, because the photo I used wasn't great. So I kind of fumbled around with it a little bit. And if you can see, like, that shadow right there kind of makes it look like her bottom lip is actually coming out farther than the top of her lip. And that's just because there was this shadow there. So you had to be really careful once you started rendering everything in the end. And by the time I had finished rendering it, it had pushed that mouth over just that little tiny bit, and it made it look funny. So I ended up having to clean that up off camera after the whole piece was done. And it actually kind of worked out well. It's one of those things that become an afterthought when you're painting, because inevitably you're just working from shape to shape, just trying to get the right shape and contrast of color. When you're working in black and white, it's, about values and contrast for the most part. So I'm just trying to lay in all the things that I know are going to be black.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and yes, this eye on this side is more dilated than this eye that's in the light. So that's why it looks so weird and big right now. It is just what it is, though. If you have a good brush, you shouldn't worry too much about stuff like this. Like, just kind of going in and blocking shapes. And so if you work, go ahead.
What are your favorite types of paints to use? Like, are you more of like an oil guy? Like, do you prefer using like oil paints? Do you mess more with acrylics? Like, what are your personal favorites?
My personal favorites are like gouache and watercolors and gesso, because it dries fast, and if I need to, I can activate it again and rework it. It's non-toxic, so I'm not working with like solvents or anything like that are causing any possible issues in the long run. I do oil paint. I do acrylic paint. If I do an oil painting, I'm going to do like an acrylic underpainting, and then I'm going to paint oils over the top of it. But my favorite is gouache and like watercolor, and like, just because I can emulate all those other types of medium with just gouache and watercolor and gesso and ink.
That's so cool.
I can do all those things. I can make really nice transitions, really vibrant colors, all done with watercolor and or gouache. And you don't have to dip into oil painting. Oil painting is a whole nother thing. Like, the oil paint moves a lot differently than watercolor. It's not hard to do. It's just a matter of just having patience to do it. That's the biggest problem people have with oil painting, is having the patience to do it and the colors muddying up while they're working. But
yeah,
if you learn how to work and use certain things to like dry your oil paints faster, like there's liquid that you can use and your oil paints will dry in a day.
Yeah.
There's ways to get around it. But once again, it depends on what you want to do, how vibrant you want something to be, what it's for. Sometimes people just want oil paints because they think it sounds fancy. Will it last 300 years? Probably, if your fucking painting doesn't end up, after they're dead in some garbage fucking dump somewhere.
Yeah.
So does it really matter if you're painting in oils? Uh, I don't think so. Like it allows me
Yeah.
to just work faster because I don't.
At the
Uh,
end of the day, all of the paints preserve long enough anyway, longer than either any of our lifetimes, right? Like so long as you
right.
take uh, good care of the paper, the canvas, or whatever you're
Right.
using, like that's what's really important.
It's true. So as long as they last my lifetime, I'm okay with that.
Absolutely, and like I always find it a fascinating question, especially talk like because like especially with us being in comics and what have you. I don't see near as many people that do paint like actual painting, so it's always fun to kind of get that kind of perspective on it and see which mediums that they like working with in terms of like how they what they like to paint with and everything.
So currently, this painting right now is just literally watered down ink.
Ink wash, yeah.
That's it. Ink. It's ink, and that's all it is. It's black. I think it's either
It's
black magic
it's
ink.
absolutely stunning. Like it's very pretty.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's just currently it's just the underpainting of it. It's I know that the closer I get some of these values to where they need to be, the easier it's going to be to like glaze the painting with color to finish it off. Um, I think it took somewhere around 5 or 6 hours to do. So there's like literally 5 or 6 hours worth of tape.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. So and we're speeding it up right now. Like we can jump into some of those color ones, but I think we'll just probably get through the black and white ones for this show.
Mhm.
So we'll see. We'll see. So yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoy painting. It's one of my favorite things to do. I think if it's worked out beforehand, usually it goes pretty quickly. It depends on what I'm doing. If it's from a photo, of course, that's pretty easy to do. So, um, photographs are like that's the one thing I focused on when I was an artist in high school was working from real life and trying to get close, right?
Yeah, of
And
course.
I know it's a trick, right? Like everybody loves when something looks realistic because oh my god, you must be so talented. No, I'm not. I just happen to be able to see the right values of stuff. Like
Yeah,
even if
it's all
some,
about like negative space and then
yeah,
that it's all about seeing looking at an eye and seeing where the circles are, where it kind of goes
uh-huh.
into corners, and see how the space between the ridge of a nose and the edge of an eyeball creates like different planes and everything like that, and being able to use that evaluation of space to replicate it.
Yeah, it's almost a trick too. Like
Yeah.
people will always be more impressed with realism than they are with anything else. And I don't understand why. Uh it's it's not really that hard to achieve.
I think that a lot of it just has to do with because it's something that you recognize, right?
Yeah.
It's something that you see out in there. So it's like when you see somebody do a portrait of like say their favorite movie star or even a personal friend or something like that,
Mhm.
you're seeing an artistic interpretation of something that and recognize to a degree of accuracy that you consent like that is like subconsciously something that you consent to. It's like, oh, this is exactly how I see it. And so I think that it's just one of those things where and then there's also the subconscious association of realism to fine art, like the Renaissance era and stuff like that, where there was this big push of trying to make things as lifelike as humanly possible, especially after, Middle Ages and what have you, which had a far more stylized take on things. Like if you look at the the bio tapestries and what have you of in front and of like the Norman invasion.
Right. You're talking about all the stuff that was pre like French optics that made where everything went from flat to round, and they stopped painting like Hieronymus Boschi type shit and started painting beautiful things. Yeah. I'm way into the beautiful things. I am.
Hey, I'm right there with you.
I am. I like that stuff. Let's push this along. Let's just a little bit. So I'm just still building up values, man. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So are there any questions that you have personally about the Embrace that I could answer for you?
Oh. No, other than I need to read this fucking thing. Like I told you. I told you I got it but hadn't read it yet. So I definitely need to read it first, and then I might have some questions. Which would be awesome. Like I could personally just hit you up and be like, "Well, what the fuck's this about?"
Yeah, man.
So,
absolutely. Like, it was an exciting book to put together. It helped me through a pretty rough time getting it together, and then the response to it was pretty humbling. It was
So it was written as a response to a tragedy, is what you're telling me.
Yes and no. Like I was going through my custody fight at the time, and when you go into that, most everything that you read as like a dad is you're kind of screwed. Like the system is not really in your favor, and so there's just this constant kind of worry of me losing my kid.
Yeah.
And so that kind of that fear was something that very much drove the storytelling impetus of it.
Oh, it's terrifying. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, dude. Yeah, all those things. It's having a child is not only traumatic, but when the other parent tries to essentially use the child as a weapon, it becomes terrible. It becomes this weird, especially when the state gets involved and everything else. Like it's a nightmarish. I can't tell you.
100%. And I mean, I was fortunate. I ended up winning primary custody of my kid, and I am in a very very select minority on that. But like the dread that you feel going into that courtroom.
Oh yeah, especially if it's your first kid. Yeah.
Like he's my only kid. Like this.
Oh yeah. Oh
God. So like.
Yeah. It feels like after everything I went through doing all that stuff too, dude, it feels like I came out on the other side and was like, holy fuck that system, dude. Why did that system do that? And why is it created that way? Especially when, I love my kids, dude. Don't be fuckers. don't allow the system to win because they automatically think the woman is the best part of that. No, dude.
It's so unfortunate because like I feel like most dads that are in the position are genuinely good dudes that are just trying to be there for their kids. But every now and again you get one that comes out there and it's just the worst human being on the face of the planet. And it's like, you're the reason why this is difficult for us is because you fit in. They fit into like all of the stereotypes of this. And you're just like, man, wouldn't it be nice if you guys were just like shoved off into a corner?
Well, it happens so often, apparently, many years ago where the man would just walk out, that there had to be a system in place to do that. And now that there's dads that actually love their children and stay home and would do anything for them, and there's this there literally is a cultural shift. Okay, like when
Yeah.
I was born, women weren't allowed to like have bank accounts. Okay, they had to be married to have a bank account. They weren't allowed to buy houses either. So, like, there's a lot of weird rules.
Well, they also weren't liable for those debts either.
That's correct.
So,
So here's the thing, like there were a lot of rules made that are 50, 60, 70, 80 years old that don't apply now. And they really fuck us in the long run. Okay? Like that and so you have to learn how to work a system. You get a fucking lawyer, you get the lawyer to fight for you, you do all that. But it's a pain, and we're not taught that. Like our parents don't fucking tell us that shit. Like they don't teach you
something
that growing up.
It's something that they're hoping that you don't ever have to deal with, right? Like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, my kid's not going to have to go through that. That's not how this goes.
Well, that's probably not going to be the case. So 50% of all marriages end in divorce. So I'm sorry, but that's an unfortunate fact. And you know, like it's very easy to walk away from something. It's very hard to make it work for a very long time.
by the way, now that we're talking about, our influences, there's a reason why the Deer Woman looks like this with that specific hair, and face. So this is life imitating art.
Right.
So,
right. I agree. I think
she's not a wonderful little boy that is attached to his father through a spiritual means and bond. This is a demon creature that haunts men and an entire bloodline of men. So to destroy them utterly. So, mine's a little bit more of a direct jab.
I can see some of the resemblance there.
Mm-hmm. Especially in the hair.
What?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, I'm just, I'm being vague, but I'm just saying life imitates art and it finds its way into your work in some ways. So I thought I would. Let's go back to your painting, Crager.
Yeah. I'm just apparently getting into the color phase of things. So I got some yellow together. And see, there we go. Now I upped the contrast on my camera so you could see what the yellow actually looks like. And I start working some of the areas, and it'll get messy as we go. Like it looks like I'm actually lifting some of the paint on purpose to get shapes that I want, which is probably what I'm doing to make it more realistic looking. I'm kind of doing a Brian Stelfreeze type of thing where I'm lifting the watercolor. Bless you. Good.
Kokame says inspiration comes from many places, and sometimes a demon bitch's life become immortalized in story form. Indeed,
Yeah, more often than not, it seems that misguided or bad decisions end up being made into beautiful art, but it nevertheless romanticizes something that shouldn't be romanticized sometimes. So
I mean, I was going to do it otherwise, but the phone rang and startled me. So
there you go. Let's see. What do I keep? Look, I'm getting fancy with some colors now. Look at this.
Woo.
Okay. Fancy.
No, some person that is not Wednesday Addams. That is American Mary from the Sothkus film American Mary of the same name. That is Catherine Isabel, the actress who plays. What's her character's name?
I think it's Mary Manson.
Mary Manson.
Yeah. I think is her name. In the name of the character.
Yeah, essentially, Catherine Isabel, as we said earlier, is in every Canadian film. Any Canadian production, she's in it.
A Hoser A. Yeah, A. So yeah, we were supposed to debut this actual thing with the Soska sisters. But they've been very busy, and that was months and months ago. So I'm gonna assume that they're super busy and weren't able to come on to watch me paint a beautiful picture of their character.
By the
So
way,
that's
GJ,
okay.
I feel vindicated because I said that to him when I saw it, and he got, he said, that's not, Monica Bellucci.
Yeah, I mean, she looks that way. That is true. She does have a very, yeah, I like her too. Persephone, like from The Matrix. That chick was hot.
But in your defense, Catherine Isabel doesn't look like Catherine Isabel in that film, in American Mary.
Oh, that's true. She doesn't. She doesn't look so much like that. So yeah,
And by the way, I'm partial to Monica Bellucci in Brotherhood of the Wolf. That's when she's at her most banging.
banging.
And Brotherhood of the Wolf has a special place in my heart because it unlocked a crucial part of Meathead for me.
I mean,
Yeah.
Brotherhood of the Wolf should be a special place in most people's heart because it's freaking an underrated classic. I fucking love that movie.
It gave me a crucial idea for Joe's design. Whereas before he was just some dude in the jungle, Native American guy, but he wasn't particularly special design wise. And then I saw that film and I saw the scene where they first show the beast and it hops up out of the floor and it's wearing that armor. And you
Yeah.
figure out that it's kind of a facade. It's just essentially a tiger with armor on it. I said, that's interesting. What if Joe essentially looks like a monster and he's got stuff all over him and he's all deformed, but he's just a guy underneath? And I thought, and that's where Crager jumped in and made this amazing design for the character.
It's awesome.
See, it gets all blown out. Like all the painting gets blown out, so you're not really seeing what it is. It kind of sucks.
Excuse me.
I never went through these and like looked at them and how they really looked. Wow, that looks terrible.
She's got jaundice. I mean, don't be pointing it out.
She'll be okay. You'll figure it out there.
I do.
She'll get to normal.
I do have the finished piece. So yeah, I mean, I just pulled it out and I was like, what did I do?
It's funny that you guys, because sorry, I was overhearing what you were talking about. My daughter was not cutting me any slack, so I had to try to, wrangle her into bed, punch her a few times in the head to knock her out so she'd go to sleep.
I mean, that's fair.
But she finally said, thank you, Daddy, for changing my poopy pants. And she quietly surrendered, and now she's sleeping like a beautiful angel. But I had one time somebody tell me in a kind of a boneheaded fashion, you're not supposed to put any emotion in your work. What do you think about that one, Odin? That you're not supposed to have emotion in your projects as an artist or a writer?
Whoever said that doesn't know what they're talking about. At the end of the day, one of the big things that stories do is they are like connective tissue, right? And everybody feels emotions. Everybody can empathize with a character's struggle in a story. If you do not bring your emotion into it and make it real and tangible into these characters, your story's not going to hit. Right. Because at the end of the day, their stories and characters have kind of a symbiotic relationship, right? A good story enriches its characters and has them grow through crucible. A good character elevates a story by giving the audience something to tether them to the setting, and the interactions between these characters is what drives forward the plot. Right? So, like, there's a symbiotic relationship there. Without emotion, these characters are as have the depth of a sheet of paper, and people aren't going to continue reading the story if that's the case. Like,
Right.
that's just how it is. There are plenty of books that people read a single, like especially when you look at comics. You know, there's enough. Even when you look at like the mainstream, there's enough really solid art in these books, and there are but where these books have lacked, especially in the past couple of years, have been in story. You can pick up one of these books and read through it and be like, "Oh, the art's really pretty," but the story doesn't capture you. The characters don't capture you, especially these interpretations of classic characters. And so they just set the book down and they never read it again. But when you look at the books that everybody picks up and talks about and reads over and over and over again, the emotions of its creators are ingrained in them through the character storytelling, through their narratives and their narrative flow. Everything is tethered to human emotion because stories are a connective tissue that bring us together. And at the heart of it is emotion. Like when you even look at the Iliad, the whole point of the Iliad is it's a parable about the destructive force of rage, right? Emotion is at the core of that story. It is one of the longest lasting stories of all time. So no, whoever said you don't bother putting emotions in your book is full of shit and doesn't know what they're talking about.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
in their defense, they're kind of an automaton with a damaged wetware in their prefrontal cortex, and is kind of incapable of emotion. So he was kind of a defective robot. So in Tokame, a great example of this movie, Equilibrium. The entire film was about why emotions are important. You go through the entire movie watching emotions get
Equilibrium
vilified,
is a great movie.
only to end embracing emotion.
That's right.
Even though, like, I don't know, it's a fun movie to watch because you're looking at everybody in that movie and people are still emoting. But it's a good one.
It's 1984 on steroids, is what it is. We're gonna do Orwellian dystopia and like the thought police and everything like that, but we're gonna give everyone a lot of fucking guns.
Yes. I mean, it's a cool looking picture, man. They shot it in Berlin. It's got that whole brutalist aspect to it.
Oh, 100. I love Equilibrium. It was one of my favorite movies in high school. Like I love that movie. I must have watched Equilibrium at least 10, 15 times. I have a great time.
Kurt Wimmer didn't do much else. He did he wrote and directed what is it? Ultraviolet, and then nothing after that. He just went back to being a writer.
I mean,
after that.
You've seen Ultraviolet, right? There's a reason why. Like that was not a good movie.
I mean, he's a very successful writer, but he kind of dipped out of writing into Equilibrium, and it was successful. And then he went into Ultraviolet, had a really bad experience, and then dipped right back into doing writing.
I mean, that's fair. I would leave after Ultraviolet. That would be my cue to go.
Did you ever see that film, Crager?
Yeah, I saw that shit. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it was pretty terrible. It was all flash and nothing else.
And there's a lot of anticipation for that movie too.
Did they have Liv Tyler as the lead? Who was that?
No, Mila Jovovich.
Mila Jovovich. Yeah.
Yep. That was during her phase after she had kind of reestablished as an action star.
Yeah, like after she'd done the first couple of Resident Evils.
Yeah, and then she went back to the Resident Evils, and then she just rode that all the way till its end. And hey, man, those movies were successful, so she did fine.
They made money. I don't know if successful is the right word.
I mean, if you're talking about return investment, they were very successful films.
In terms of ROI, they did their job.
Do they become increasingly unwatchable? Yeah, but they're fun. I actually like the first Resident Evil a lot. It's a lot of fun.
The first two are fine. I enjoyed the first two a good deal. it's everything after the second one where you're just like, why are we here?
And I like Paul W.S. Anderson. A lot of people hate him, but I like him. I think he's a lot of fun. I like Mortal Kombat. It's freaking cheesy now. I mean, but when we saw that shit, Mortal Kombat, we were lit when we saw that. Okay, tell me you weren't lit when you saw that New Line logo and that Mortal Kombat and the din 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 din. I mean, we were ready to watch a movie.
Lit up.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right, dude. We were all lit up. You're so right. Mortal Kombat.
And then he did Event Horizon, which is a beautiful horror film.
Event Horizon is amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Severely
to look at.
underrated.
Oh yeah, and then he did. I think this is a fun movie, even though everyone thinks it's shit. I think it's a lot of fun.
Congo.
Soldier. No, Soldier.
Oh. No, it's a great movie.
You know,
I don't know
I
if
like
I've
it,
seen
man. What, Kurt Russell?
No, it's fantastic. That's one of the greatest movies.
You know what I'm talking about, right? The one where he's like an obsolete, brainwashed MK Ultra, Phoenix program soldier.
Yeah, putting a garbage dump on a planet somewhere. Yeah. It was fucking great, dude.
And he like rips out Bruce Lee's eye. You know, the guy who played Bruce Lee in.
Yeah.
Oh, and the story of the dragon biopic.
Yeah. So yeah, he gouges out his eye in that film.
I remember.
Member berries.
So yeah, he makes all those kind of cheese films, but I like them. Even Death Race 2000, I like.
I remember. I like that.
Which one? The original one or the Jason Statham one?
Oh, those were good. Yeah, Frankenstein.
Oh man, I remember that. Soldier reminded me of Whole Human Occupied Landfill. That's a deep cut, Tokame. I forgot about that from what was it called? Black Dog, that sub brand of White Wolf. But that's a deep cut right there. I forgot all about that.
Deep cuts.
They wouldn't let me buy it at Barnes and Noble when I found it there because I was too young.
Deep cuts.
So,
yeah,
back to what we're talking about emotion, and
of course.
It was just a really silly thing this person told me out of anger that I was bringing too much baggage to my own project, and I said, "How the hell am I supposed to do it?" Now I get there's other writers, like I'll give a good example is George Romero, who really doesn't really give a shit about his characters, more so about his boomer metaphysics, and he just kind of moves characters around like chess pieces in his story. And they could be anybody. I'm sure there's writers who do that, but I'm not capable of it.
I mean, I think that there is absolutely a point where you have to separate yourself from your characters, right? Like they're born from our emotions and everything like that, but they do end up having a life of their own. You have to kind of there is a line where it's like you're not writing yourself. Obviously, you're writing a character, but I think that there are definitely people that can do, as you said, just kind of disassociate themselves completely and just move everything around like you're a dungeon master or what have you. And it's like, oh, I'll just roll to see how they do today, But
right.
I feel like for me personally, I generally write about stuff that I care about, and I'd like to think that that's one of the things that makes me a strong writer. I feel like there is definitely, as I said, there's definitely a line where you could where I have seen certain writers, they become overburdened. They overburden the narrative with their own shit. Like Tom King, I think, is a perfect example of this. Like, there comes a point in any run that Tom King does on a mainstream character where you just start to go, dude, you need therapy, and I shouldn't be your comics have become your therapy, and I'm having to pay for it. Like, I shouldn't be paying you to listen to your trauma, to listen to you trauma dump on me through Batman. I don't need to know about that shit. But like at the same time, there is something to be said for taking the pain that you have, turning it into the pain or joy or whatever emotions that you're feeling, and turning it into something constructive and building worlds out of it, and taking these emotions and creating character archetypes that embody whatever you're feeling and having them clash on a page.
Right.
And it can I've done that before where I've heard some very traumatic things or seen somebody told me a story or something's happened to me. I go, and being like a scumbag writer, I'm like, that's a good idea for a scene. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down.
100%. Like, absolutely, some of this stuff makes good stories. I think that the problem is that there are some times where people will take something that really happened to them and try to make a story out of it, but they let their truth get in the way of telling the story in a way where it doesn't feel like you're being
honest.
You're being vented to, and that's where it becomes a problem. Is like you like a story does require a certain style element, and I do feel that I do see a lot of writers that are just like, oh, I'm gonna just write about stuff that concerns me and this, that, the other, and base this off of my experience doing that. And as a result, the characters lack a certain sense of agency, and that's where it becomes risky.
Right.
And I think the opposite of that is in this day and age, everybody's such a sourpussy that there's not much humor in anything anymore. And I don't, when everything I write, I try to put some humor in it because I think shit is inherently funny. And Crager knows this, that I try to stick a little humor in everything.
He does. He does.
And what I think I'm pretty good at is writing things that are very far removed from me, because I guess I got this in college, pretending I'm a Marxist or something and writing about how much I love socialism and making the teachers believe that I'm one of them when I'm not, and I hate them all and they're scumbags. So when I tend to write horror stuff, Craig will read it and go, maybe you're sicker than I thought you were, Will.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that you absolutely need to bring humor into pretty much even in the Embrace, there's a lot of lighthearted, fun parts, mainly towards the end of the first book. But at the end of the day, life isn't all misery, so you can't treat it like it's all misery. And I do think that there's a massive problem with that in modern media, where it's like, guys, I understand that you're trying to hit some emotional beats, but literally nobody's smiled in 50 fucking pages.
Right.
And unfortunately, I'm a hypocrite because I don't know where to put humor in Meathead, but it'll come up somewhere. Maybe the absurdity of some things will make someone chuckle. I don't know.
Maybe Quan will say something funny.
Nah, he's too serious. He's a Marxist.
Well, not all Marxist, dude.
I mean, you could have him say something that he's not intending to be funny, but comes off that way to the reader.
That's
I mean,
right.
they're all sour pussies.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see. And I want to go back here where Tokumi says, "Will, do you not have it?" And he's talking about the hole, and I'm like, "Yes, I'm lying to you, Seth, because I know you'll box it up and ship it to me immediately, and I don't want you to do that. So keep your freaking, soul human-occupied landfill. I'll just admire it from afar." Even in dark scenes, make the character trip, crack a joke, sometimes to break the tension. Bad jokes in odd places are great ways to brighten the mood and also make the cut more impactful. Indeed.
They absolutely can be.
So, well, I'm sorry. Let's skip. What do you think about all this, Craig? What do you think about emotion and writing?
Oh, I think I said it last week on the show how consciousness and depicting of what's around you is essentially what art made art back in the day. Cave people painting, woolly mammoths and bison and saber-toothed tigers on cave walls pretty much was the first art, man. And if you've ever seen History of the Worlds, with the first art came the first art critic. So we always, are going to have assholes who judge us based upon some narrow-minded view of things. Now, if you're a mindless automaton that can just draw cartoons, then yeah, you might say that to somebody else and tell them that there shouldn't be emotion in your work, or that you shouldn't use your trauma to like write things about. But I digress. Once again, you literally have the only thing in your world to write from, and that's it. That's all you have. So your experience. You can't. Everything comes from your experience. Nothing is original. You're not fucking inventing anything. It comes from experience. So
I
if you
robbed
read
everything.
something, if you, it's all that. It's all those things. And to say otherwise is just, to be blatantly fucking just a fucking douchebag. So, anyways, whatever. Doesn't matter at this point.
You know what's a good example of that, by the way?
What should I show people how to draw horses tonight? Like, should
Yeah,
we
you
stick
should.
that fucking? Should we stick that fucking like nail in and kind of push it around or something?
How to
Since
draw
they were
horse.
talking about drawing horses on Twitter. Good lord.
A good example of what we're talking about humor in like a grim situation was Apocalypto. Like, do you remember the beginning of that film where they're hunting for the Sapir, and they're busting each other's balls and like say you should eat the nut sack and making fun of the dude for being a nut sack eater, and then telling him he should
Yes.
rub like chili powder on his dick so he can get his wife pregnant. And they're all laughing their asses off. They think that's the funniest shit in the world because like dudes like bust each other's balls, no matter if you're Aztecs or Romans.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So,
or even the slavers, right? They're like complaining about their job and blowing off steam and going, "Ah, shit, we got to drag these assholes a whole inventory across this jungle to the stupid pyramid." I think that stuff is kind of funny. Like that they're all acting like just dudes doing a job.
I mean, because that's what it is. And that's how it always has been. In the infantry, we have a saying called bitching. Bitching makes the infantry, like, it makes the world go round. Effectively, it's like like you sit there, you're on a 12-mile ruck march, and everyone's just complaining and talking shit and saying stupid crap to keep your mind off of the fact that it sucks.
that you're dying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I do when I go. When I go
ahead.
to the gym and I work out, I just straight up I'm like, fuck you. God damn it. Like, I hate this shit while I'm doing it. Like, oh god
Whenever I am not able to get like a final rep in or something like that, I go, get back on there, you piece of shit. You can do this.
You can do this. You can do it. Yeah. It's just talking your way through shit, man. Like, it's all. I love like abusing a trainer or something like that. That's the best. You pay them to like call them names for the next hour while you're working out. That's what I do, man. I'll pay somebody just so I can call them names. Like, I fucking hate you, and I'll just keep doing it. I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you so much, and I'll just keep going. And then after the whole thing's done, like, you feel so great. So, I still hate you while I'm doing it. I don't fucking care. That whole adrenaline rush that you get is pretty fucking cool, though. Like when you work out real good and it's just like all burning, and everything's just burning for the next 20 hours. Yeah. It's fucking great. You feel like you earned it.
She's not jaundiced anymore. She's beautiful.
Okay, that's the end of that, buddy. That's the finished painting, I believe.
Look at her.
So
look how gorgeous she is.
Well, I have the original piece, so we'll look at it right now, right here. It's right here. So,
Oh wow.
even now, it's like looks all blown out and shit. But whatever.
GJ's laughing at my jaundice joke.
Yeah, it's all blown out. It's the lighting in this fucking place, man. Here, let's turn this off. Fuck this thing. We'll go straight back to the camera.
Did you ever finish the Sankovici meathead cover?
No, it's still here.
Okay, so we can't show it.
I can show
Woo.
it. I mean,
So the layout.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Thanks,
That's beautiful.
guys. I think it came out pretty nice.
That's one thing Crager. I mean, he's good at a lot of things, but that's one of my favorite things is his close-ups he does. If you see Jabo Death 2, his profiles and bang-ons are beautiful. Yeah, that's the one we were talking about just now.
Yeah, this one.
That's pretty insane.
This one's pretty fun.
He's still got to draw Joe in the scope.
Yeah, he's penciled in there currently. You just can't see it, but I did my best, Bill Sankovic. So
one day, GJ, I'm gonna allow you to buy some meathead art.
yeah, it should be fun, man. So
Because I always buy it all.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, all 4 of you in here tonight. Man, it looks like we lost a lot of our peoples. So
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of streaming going on tonight.
Is it that there's a bunch of people streaming that I didn't offer free art, so they don't even bother showing up? Look what they missed, dude. They just missed a whole painting session.
Yeah. And
because they chose not to show up.
Those guys are bums, is all I had to say. You know,
and that's what I'm gonna write. Like tonight, like when I get out there, I'm gonna write like you're all bums for not showing up. You guys missed a whole painting stream. Go fuck yourselves.
He said, "I'm going to commission Jason with a meathead attire. What an interesting character. Sweet, thank you."
Ooh.
And then he said, "Yes, a lot of people are streaming. Like, a lot of people are."
Are they just over streaming on purpose now? Are they just over streaming us on purpose now? Like, dude, Monday was my day, you assholes. Like,
fuckheads.
It's my day. I chose Monday so that you guys had all those other fucking days. Now you're showing up on Monday because I'm doing art and shit and doing shit.
Absolute jackals.
Yeah, jackals, man. Why don't you hit me up and like we can all have a conversation about how this is going to get laid out so that I can fucking like have my day back.
Yeah.
So, or else I'm going to start streaming like weird times and stuff, and I'm going to just start showing you guys all up.
Chauncey showed up despite me rigging the wheel.
That's true. Despite Will's rigged. Yeah, it's totally rigged, man. In fact, pull that wheel up. Pull the wheel up. Pull
the wheel up.
Pull your wheel up. Pull your wheel up, and let's see what's on there currently.
Oh, it's from last week.
That's fine. Pull the fucking wheel up.
Okay, I am. Hold on a second. There you go.
Now I want you to put any random thing on there right now. Just anything. Like, say, meathead on there. Put it on there. Now spin this thing and see if it lands on the embrace.
No, it went to Frog G Tokame.
Oh my god, that was so close too. Like, okay. So I guess it isn't rigged. It just got lucky those 2 times that I ever said to put those things on there that it landed on those.
Marco, Odin is not an artist; he's a writer.
I am the hashtag writer. Like I do draw, but like I am not a profession. Like I very much just dabble in it as a hobby. I'm okay, and that is like the most comfortable that I would describe my artistic ability. Is
Dean James did what's behind him.
But if you want, I can share the screen of the Embrace 2 campaign, and I can show what the art's like.
Hi everyone. Hey, what up,
yeah,
Early? Thanks for coming in, buddy.
Yeah, thank you all for showing up, all you traders, for not coming out and watching the paint stream.
Well, I'll probably close out with showing them the colored meathead Rob Willis cover because Moromi showed up, and I can't help but be drawn in by the beard. And Chauncey's here. How can I not show it if Chauncey's here?
Right, exactly. It has to be said when the spin is for real. Ah, is that why it didn't happen? Because it wasn't real? I don't know. We'll have to try it again next time.
How it goes.
So if it does it again next time, like when we add something right before it, we should immediately re-spin.
All right, so this is the Embrace 2 campaign.
Yeah, so this is the Embrace 2 campaign. There's our main cover by Dean James.
And it looks great. So you guys should go and back this stuff.
Yeah, well, and the other exciting thing is that our stretch goals for this campaign are not tchotchke based. We have instead invested in upgrading all the covers. So we have unlocked all the stretch goals for all the covers so far outside of Bancroft's. We're a little under 1,800 away from that.
Nice.
But got some really solid cover work on here. And this limited glow in the dark haunted edition that's
With Shelby
not
Frank Miller style.
Yeah, like it's not currently listed in the tiers right now because this is a very limited one. It will be back when we launch on Fund My Comic. If you had backed this while it was on Indiegogo, it was $50. The price will go up on Fund My Comic because there are less than 25 left.
Oh, nice.
So, but we have got original art. We're doing a reboot of Elysian Fields, which was my original series, and there's a 12-page story preview for the reboot that you can get for like $10. That's pretty swanky.
Amazing. So everybody who hasn't back this thing,
Yes, please get a box if you'd like.
enjoy it. Enjoy the Embrace.
We have lots of good stuff.
It has personality. It's not just a surface level like piece of art. So it has a heartbeat. You guys should check it out. That's what we're talking about. Like, yeah, like Murder Falcon. Murder Falcon has a fucking heartbeat. So,
dude, Murder Falcon is one of my favorite books that's come out in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Like I love that. I love that book so much. I was not prepared for that.
It was brutal, man. Like when I first of all, it wasn't in my like lane at all of like artists that I would pick up and check out.
Yeah.
I had no interest in seeing a Daniel Warren Johnson book until I read Murder Falcon.
Dude, he has some good ones. Did you check out Do a Powerbomb?
I have since collected everything that he's done.
Yeah.
But I literally had to like get past so first of all, I'm an art bigot. Like I literally will just like discount over somebody's work because it isn't like meticulously done or whatever like that. But at some point, so my boss Adam, he sent me a copy of Murder Falcon, and he was like, "Here, I want you to read this." And I was like, "Oh, great!" And I flipped through it real quick, like, and I guess I only flipped through like the first 2/3 of it, and I was like, I don't know about this, and I just kind of tossed it to the side, and then I picked it up again, maybe a few days later, and I rolled through it, and at the very end, I see this picture of something that looks like Ronnie James Dio to me. And I went, dude, is that fucking Ronnie James Dio? And I sat down and I read it. And I fucking loved it. Like, I don't cry during like reading fucking much of anything. Like it has to be really good.
Gets you fucking hard at some places.
I literally cried while reading this book.
It was really good.
Yeah, and I had no idea. So after that, I like looked up his YouTube channel and started to like watch him draw, and I was like, he's really cool. So then I picked up like the Wonder Woman story he did, and I was like, this thing's fucking rad. And then
it's good.
I just started picking up everything he was doing at that
His
point.
Beta Ray Bell short.
Oh,
like,
dude, amazing.
So
good.
Did you get the issue of Superman Red and Blue where he did like a 5-page short story, maybe 10 pages of Superman, and it went viral. It broke the internet because it's really freaking good.
I haven't seen it.
It starts off with like Pa Kent. It's like right after he's picked up Clark and he's at a church and is asking advice from this priest. And then it's just like a collage of these moments of initially John Kent telling Clark that he loves him, he's proud of him, and all this stuff. And then John passes away. Pa Kent passes away, and you've got the adult like Clark becoming Superman, and it's just him having a similar collage of him helping out people and telling them he loves them and he's proud of them and all this other stuff. And then it ends on this beautiful shot of Superman looking down at the earth, telling effectively the world that he loves it and he's proud of them. And it's like, fuck.
Yeah, he has this emotional resonance that literally translates through his art. And it's so humble and honest, and like he doesn't try to be something he's not. He isn't trying to. I honestly think that Daniel Warren Johnson wears all of his like characters on his sleeve.
100%. I would agree with that.
Totally. Yeah, he's that good. So he's our generation's Frank Miller.
No.
So, or this younger generation's Frank Miller, I guess, since we had a Frank Miller. So anyways, nice. It's getting late here. It's pushing 1 a.m. where you are, Mr. Odin. I don't want to keep you up much longer. I know that you have a child, and
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap this up, and I appreciate everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you all. I'm sorry I was so cantankerous, and will too. We're gonna medicate everybody on this fucking whole thing, and come back next week. So,
Good night.
Everybody have a great night, and as always, let's say hi to Peaches.